Joshua Peterson here with Peterson Electric. We're doing a video today about basically smoke and CO2 gas, how to detect that. And I have a customer here, Bob. I want to introduce him. He's a GC here guy out of Lakewood City in Colorado. And basically he was calling me on the fact that we had an issue with these smoke detectors. Now these are made by First Alert. They're kitty. First thing I want to say about smoke detectors, they're only good for 10 years of what manufacturer states. If you get past that, then you're lucky. But you're supposed to change them at 10 years. It's supposed to be a date on the back, or you put a date on the side now so you know when you installed it. These guys are supposed to interlink wirelessly, not just your typical what we call lick and stick. They're actually wirelessly interconnected by programming them to each other to learn themselves, so you have each level put them in. I personally am not a huge fan of them. I'm a huge fan on the hardwired version, but sometimes we can't get wires between levels when all we did is a kitchen remodel in here, of course. It is feasible if you do conduit on the outside or you fish a wall. Sometimes you do have to cut drywall. But anyways, the complaint was that this was going off for the last month that I wasn't down here because our work was done. We were waiting for the tile guy and the cabinets and counters to get in, and he kept telling me, "Hey Josh, it's going off again, it's going off again, it's going off again." And I'm thinking, well, you guys can't, you know, do a bunch of sawing in here and make a lot of dust because they will go off. And he says, no, we're doing all the cutting in the garage. So I says, well, I'm going to buy 2 detectors and come down and look at this with you. But it's interesting if you just hang on with the video. I'll tell you at the end what I think was going on. But there's 2 things here. Bob's going to hold this for me. One of them is a smoke pen. Okay, yeah, could you take your lighter that you use for smoking and do it? Yeah, you probably could. But this actually has a wick, and this is just going to be a chargeable lighter. So it's going to be a dead short DC lighter here. And so you're going to set this guy off. Try to get that wick to catch. Not as easy when it's already been burnt. But this is a really true way to test. So now we got our smoke, and this should start detecting it. So we want to get this thing to adjust just to a point where it's starting to tick. And I don't think I got that. So this meter will detect smoke, okay? But I also had it detect upstairs, or at our house when I was cooking with a gas range. I thought I had a leak, but everything was turned off when we were done cooking and cleaning. I put this probe underneath the oven, and I did not get any detection of it leaking. So I pulled out my oven, I tightened up my fittings to make sure nothing. Went down to my gas furnace and gas water heater, which are right next to each other. I didn't have anything. So this theory that CO2 is a heavy gas on the backside after it's burnt off and it goes down to the floor. You know, what was funny is in my house, I went down low all through my main level, which is about 700 square foot. I got nothing. And as soon as I started to go up closer to the ceiling in the kitchen, and then as I went into the entryway and then up that stairway, and our stairways, it's vaulted. I mean, it's a lot like theirs, very narrow, but it goes up about 13 to 14 feet. And as we went up, we could sense it way high. So again, you know, plugging in a CO2 detector that you buy at the store, I'm not sure I'm convinced that that's a good way to do that. I kind of feel like the ones that you put up high like this that are wireless are better. Now this is a CO2/smoke combo, but it is wirelessly connected, but it interconnects through an RF system. And so you program them to each other. You can have a master that's typical of 110, and then your slaves, or what we call a teacher and the students. But what I've seen with these is that I've had a hard time with the CO2/smokes connecting to just the smokes. But the inspector of this city, this jurisdiction, said, hey, we want our CO2 smokes in each level within 20 foot of the bedroom, and we want them all to interconnect. So, in my opinion, this is a good brand, Kitty and First Alert. I put these in two different homes, but I've had two situations in the last couple months where both CO2/smokes did not talk to each other. So, I guess my suggestion is maybe to put smokes in that are wirelessly interconnected if that's what you have to do, and then make sure that you just get a normal lick and sticks CO2. Unless, of course, you've got the wires in the wall already, do the 110 because then you're going to trickle charge that battery. But mind you that whether it's battery or hardwired, it's going to be only good for 10 years. When you trickle charge them, the batteries are typically good for about 3 to 5. But if you don't trickle charge them and they are battery all the time, my thought is you're going to get about 2 to 3 years out of it and have to keep changing those batteries. Usually it's 2 to 3 life cycles on a hardwire that I change them. I have seen smokes that are really old school design, the square ones that turn yellow in homes up to 50 years. Can't say they work though, but the devices are supposed to trigger really quick. So the bottom line is, yeah, you can go through and push these push test buttons and you think, oh, they work. Right, well, the true way to do it, to get them to trip, is using this. It's like doing an arc fault or doing a plug tester. That doesn't really do a lot, it doesn't put a load. If you really want to do a load on a circuit to test it, use a hairdryer. It's 1500 watts versus putting on a normal plug tester like this, which is going to run absolutely no current at all. And it's such a minute LED light bulb, you're not going to get any response out of that circuit. So in order to get a circuit to fail, you want to put a hairdryer on it. Even this little light bulb, this LED running 8 watts, isn't going to do as much. So the point being is you may want to buy yourself a pin, a smoke pin, use that to test it, see in each smoke if it's triggering. Again, with the First Alert that are wireless, you can do the CO2/smoke, and you can also, you don't have to have a master to the slaves with this brand. You can actually have them all slaves. But we had a hardwired one downstairs that we wired up pretty simple. We wanted to see how that worked. The second house we did was all battery, all slaves, and we still had an issue with a couple of CO2/smokes connecting. So we called the company, the 1-800 number. They said, hey, we'll send you out a brand new batch. But now that I've had 2 jobs in a row do that, I'm kind of convinced it's not that. I'm more convinced that let's just put smokes that are all slaved and then just do a CO2. But again, do your CO2s up high. This is just my personal opinion. But after buying this meter and this pin, the smoke pin, it helped us to see that. This is just a simple DC. Basically, it's just shorting it out, and it just charges it up. And you use AC to charge it. It could be an AC, but that's just what causes that wick to catch flame, and then once it burns out, it smokes. So hopefully, you guys, that helps you out. Sorry the video is a little long, but that knowledge should help you out on how to test. Very important in a home to make sure, because you never know if you're getting carbon monoxide poisoning, as well as just making sure your smokes are working so it wakes you up at night. And one other good tip for you is that smoke detectors are supposed to be in every single bedroom, outside of the door in the hallway. If the hallway assumptionally is 10 foot or longer, the code states for us that we have to have a plug for electrical. You probably should use common sense there too. Some hallways are short because there's 3-4 bedrooms right real close, but we have some homes that have that little bridge landing across the vault of an entry and a very big high 20-foot ceiling of a family room, and then you have your master suite by itself. Yeah, you still need to have a smoke down there at that end as well. But I just got failed on an inspection where the inspector said, hey, because the bedrooms are 30 foot apart in this basement, he says, I want a CO2/smoke outside of both bedrooms. So I'm going to start bidding it that way. But again, yeah, just one at the bottom of the stairs is not the only thing. You have to have them at the bottom of the stairs. In this house, it'd be the bottom of the stairs, top of the stairs. Now over there, I think you're fine right here, but the top of that stairs, down the hallway, in the 3 bedrooms, and then this house has a bedroom way down at the bottom corner in the basement, and you put it there as well. Now, what constitute a true bedroom in a home is going to be the fact that you have a closet, an egress window, a door, and an area that looks like a bedroom. Because if it doesn't have a closet or an egress window, it's technically not even a bedroom. But if someone's staying down there and it's your house, you may want to just go ahead and put that in anyways. But the point of it is that these wireless interconnected ones, the city of Lakewood feels that if this one goes off, the others will go off and you have a better chance at hearing it, which is true. But it is more expensive for us to come in and hardwire all those together without major damage. Anyways, thanks for joining us. I'll see you next week.